force ourselves to reach out and find out why someone feels the way they do and make the choices they make without prejudging them a monster.
Joe Biden. Happy birthday. Joe Biden turned 82 this week. All right. And Bill, I hope you're still kicking ass at 82.
Bill Maher just took a sledgehammer to the DNC's rosy glasses. In a fiery exchange, he caught Donna Brazile praising Kamala Harris's failed campaign. Want to know why Maher says Democrats will keep losing if they don't face reality? Stick around as we break down his no-holds-barred critique of political spin and voter disconnect.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
Bill Maher recently sat down with former DNC Chair Donna Brazile, and sparks flew. The interview quickly became a battleground for the future of the Democratic Party.
She did not run a great campaign, and you're going to keep losing if you insist that she ran a great campaign.
Brazile, ever the party loyalist, began by heaping praise on Kamala Harris's campaign. She painted a picture of a vice president connecting with voters and championing Democratic values. Maher, known for his sharp wit and even sharper tongue, wasn't buying it. His skepticism was palpable as he raised an eyebrow and leaned in. This wasn't just another political pundit spat. The exchange mattered because it laid bare the growing chasm between the party's leadership and the realities facing voters. As Maher pressed on, he zeroed in on two key issues: immigration and inflation.
The big issue, right, was immigration. And
inflation, immigration.
Those two are very big issues. And
these weren't just talking points. They were the hot-button topics keeping Americans up at night. Maher, channeling the frustration of many, demanded answers. Where was Harris's plan to address the surge at the border? What about the skyrocketing cost of living?
Vice President Harris?
Right.
Why did you let all these people in for the last 4 years? She did not have an answer. I still don't know.
Brazile, caught in the crossfire, tried to deflect. She spoke of Harris's dedication and her role in the administration, but Maher wasn't letting her off the hook. He pushed harder, pointing out that Harris seemed to lack concrete solutions to these pressing problems. The tension in the room was electric. Brazile, a seasoned political operative, found herself on the defensive.
She had no answer on inflation, and she also seemed to represent that whole woke zone that people are sick to death of.
She clung to the party line, praising Harris's efforts and touting the administration's achievements. But with each defense, Maher's skepticism grew. As the exchange heated up, it became clear that this wasn't just about Harris or even the current administration. It was about the Democratic Party's strategy moving forward. Maher was laying the groundwork for a deeper critique, one that would challenge the very foundations of the party's approach to voters.
The Democrat could have stepped up in that period of time.
We're not arguing about that.
All right.
We're arguing the campaign she ran. They asked her what she would do differently. She said, "I can't think of anything."
The air crackled with anticipation as Maher prepared to dive into his next line of questioning. It was clear he wasn't done yet. The real battle was just beginning, and Maher was gearing up to take on what he saw as the Democrats' biggest blind spot. The battlefield of ideas suddenly shifted, catching Brazile off guard. Maher, with the precision of a political sniper, took aim at what he saw as the Democrats' Achilles heel. "Do you really believe," he asked, leaning in close, "that woke politics isn't costing you elections?"
Oh, how pure. It's like not letting certain people sit with you on the bus.
The question hung in the air, heavy with implications that neither could ignore. Brazile, ever the party loyalist, quickly dismissed the notion. She argued that the Democratic Party's focus on social justice and equality was a strength, not a weakness. But Maher wasn't about to let this slide. He pressed on, explaining that woke politics had evolved from a well-intentioned movement into something far more divisive. "It's not just about being aware of social injustices anymore," Maher explained. "It's become associated with policies and rhetoric that many voters find extreme or out of touch."
Force ourselves to reach out and find out why someone feels the way they do and make the choices they make without prejudging them a monster.
He pointed to examples where woke initiatives had backfired spectacularly. From college campuses banning speakers to corporations fumbling diversity efforts, the list was long and damaging. Maher argued that these missteps were costing Democrats dearly at the ballot box. "You're alienating the very people you need to win elections," he said, his voice rising with frustration. "Middle America isn't buying what you're selling, and you're too busy patting yourselves on the back to notice." The tension in the room was palpable as Brazile struggled to counter Maher's arguments. She tried to steer the conversation back to the party's achievements, but Maher was relentless. He cited polling data showing a significant portion of voters viewed woke politics negatively, directly impacting their voting decisions. "This isn't just my opinion," Maher said, his eyes locked on Brazile. "The numbers don't lie. People are tired of feeling like they're walking on eggshells, afraid to say the wrong thing. They're rejecting candidates who seem more focused on identity politics than on competence and real solutions." As the debate reached its crescendo, Maher delivered his final warning. "If you keep ignoring this reality, if you keep pushing policies that alienate rather than unite, you're going to keep losing." The words hung in the air, a stark challenge to the Democratic establishment's approach. Brazile's silence spoke volumes. It was clear that Maher's critique had struck a nerve, exposing a growing rift between the party's leadership and the voters they needed to win. The question now was whether the Democrats would heed this wake-up call or continue down a path that Maher argued led only to defeat. The Democratic Party's challenges run deeper than just policy disagreements. As Maher shifted gears, he zeroed in on a ticking time bomb at the heart of their 2024 strategy. Could the party's unwillingness to address Biden's age prove to be their undoing?
That was telling us with a straight face that Joe Biden could be president for 4 more years without any problem whatsoever. That's what the Democrats were telling us.
Maher didn't pull any punches as he tackled the elephant in the room, President Biden's age. He referenced a recent birthday celebration, quipping, "Happy birthday, Joe Biden turned 18 this week, and I hope you still kicking ass at 82.
The
Birthday, Joe
Brazilian
Biden.
chorus.
Happy birthday. Joe Biden turned 82 this week. And Bill, I hope you're still kicking ass at 82.
The joke landed with a thud, highlighting the growing unease about Biden's fitness for office as he approaches his mid-80s. The Democratic Party's official stance remains unwavering. They insist that Biden is sharp, capable, and more than fit to lead the nation for another term. Maher wasn't buying it. He pointed to a series of public gaffes and moments of confusion during speeches that have left many voters questioning Biden's mental acuity. Maher argued that these concerns aren't just fodder for late-night comedians. They're having a real impact on voter trust. Recent polling data shows a significant portion of the electorate is worried about Biden's age and ability to effectively govern.
The massive lie. We saw through it. Everyone saw through it.
Did you see him this week? Could you imagine
God.
if we were just starting on the next term?
This skepticism could prove costly in a tight election where every vote counts. The comedian-turned-political commentator didn't mince words, accusing the Democratic Party of perpetrating a massive lie by downplaying or outright ignoring these legitimate concerns. Bill Maher stressed the importance of perceived honesty in politics, suggesting that the party's refusal to acknowledge Biden's age-related challenges could lead to a catastrophic loss of voter trust. As Maher painted a picture of the potential consequences, the tension in the room was palpable. He argued that by sticking their heads in the sand, Democrats were setting themselves up for failure in 2024.
Joe Biden won the hearts and minds of the American people, as well as the Electoral College, yet they were never given a mandate to.
The risk, according to Maher, wasn't just losing an election. It was about fundamentally damaging the party's credibility with the American people. The implications of this approach extend far beyond a single election cycle. Maher suggested that the Democratic Party's handling of Biden's age was symptomatic of a larger problem: a disconnect between party leadership and the everyday concerns of voters. As he transitioned to his next point, it was clear that this issue was just the tip of the iceberg in Maher's critique of the Democratic establishment.
sick to death of. And I think those three did it.
Well, I agree with the first two, but I'm not going to get into this, oh, the people are too damn woke. That wasn't an issue.
Maher's critique of the Democratic Party cuts deep, exposing a disconnect between leadership and voters. He argues their refusal to face reality on issues like woke politics, Biden's age, and divisive rhetoric could spell disaster at the ballot box. If Democrats don't course correct, they risk losing not just elections, but credibility with the American people. The consequences of ignoring these warnings could reshape the political landscape. Voters may increasingly turn to alternatives they see as more in touch with their concerns. This shift could fundamentally alter the balance of power and the nature of political discourse in America.
Way we play the game, she didn't get elected. But we can't say that the country, and also the votes are now finally all in for this election.
As we look to the future, a crucial question emerges. Can either party bridge the growing divide between political elites and everyday Americans? The answer may determine the health of our democracy for years to come.